we should be back for round 2 of the MCQ here in Vienna, Austria. The round has already, it looks like it has already started in the main place. There we go. Full feature match area here, and we got a spicy one. I like what our don't know how to call it, but our coverage head has chosen to introduce the deck. So we have what's on your side. That looks a bit more traditional.
A bit more traditional, although it is 4-color Dreadhorde, so that's a spicy deck right from the beginning. We've seen spicy decks last round.
This one looks a bit crazier though, because
I'm just seeing like 1 Massacre Girl, but 1 Trostani Discordant.
Yeah, 3 Paradise Druid, also not that common in these lists. So, and Sorin,
1
Vengeful
Sorin.
Blood for Bloodler as well. So it's a bit of a different thing, maybe more of a also ramp approach with the Paradise Druids.
And Trostani being a nice tech against Commander Dreadhorde, because
Sure.
the players will get their permanents back.
Yeah, so your opponent doesn't want to take the Trostani, because then at the end of the turn, the permanents are going to go back to where they should be. You can also answer with your own Trostani or with your own Dreadhorde to bring it back. It's interesting. I like it. Maybe he doesn't have any more in his sideboard. Okay, that's pretty cool. On the right side, Eugen Ferencek, I think he is from Croatia. It's called Sultai Reanimator. And it's quite spicy. I mean, we have 4 Dream Eaters.
Wow.
We have 2 God Eternal Captain. My favorite card is Muldrotha the Gravetide.
This is awesome.
Because if
Dream Eater, I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, exactly. And Muldrotha I've seen like back when it first came out, when people were trying these Sultai decks. And we're gonna see if it's going to do something, because there are also 4 Knife Concoct I want to see. But the players are already in, and Christian Schwarz already has the Paradise Druid we talked about, accelerating his mana very nicely here in the early turns.
He does have, I think, both versions of Teferi in his hand currently.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna go for the small one, I guess. No, Jade Light Ranger.
Start with Jade Light Ranger, get some pressure. Interplanar Beacon's nice. And Teferi Time
probably gonna bin that one, right?
I mean, he has another one in his hand. We'll see. He doesn't know what he's playing against, so he might want to have some backup Teferis if he's playing against like a control deck, but he's going to bin it. One should be
keeps it on top.
He decided to keep it indeed. All right. So and then overgrown 2 added to the board. So nice start from Christian here. Let's see if the Sultai deck on the right side can do something about it. I already see the Knife Concoct in his hand.
you called it out earlier. Yeah. From the way Eugene started with his mana base, Christian probably puts him on control, or a control-ish build.
Dimir controls something like Grzegorz Kowalski was playing in the MPL for a couple of weeks now. There's Tyrant Scorn. It looks like he's going to get rid of the Paradise Druid. He's thinking.
Stopping the acceleration, or gonna go for the Paradise Druid. Of course, has to do it now on his turn, because the Paradise Druid, once untapped, does have hexproof.
So if you're wondering if we're calling Reanimator, why is it called Reanimator? Okay, so the Reanimate players are Knife Concoct, so the Concoct part costs 5, I think, Surveil 3, and then you bring back something from your graveyard to play. And there's also Bond of Revival. That's the 4 in the black black bond, which brings back a creature as well.
Crazy deck list. He's also featuring 4 Pelaka Worms in the mainboards.
Yes. Well, there's Massacre Girl. That's probably going to go away. Branchwalker probably also going to go away.
The bin. So Christian already setting up Commander Dreadhorde. Yeah. Of course, we know he doesn't have one available right now.
But also pressuring the board. That's why these Jade Light Rangers are so good in these sorts of decks. Does Eugen have a 4th land? He does. Still no green.
Still no green. I was just
doesn't need it just yet. But he's going to go for a Thought Erasure here. I'm going to see what is going to be up. I see a big Teferi. I saw a small Teferi.
I think
Woodland Cemetery, and
I think it's another small Teferi. So 3 Teferis in the hand.
Yeah, that's why he been the first one. All right, so double Teferi, Time Reveler, and a Woodland Cemetery. So not the greatest hand here. And
he's going to rely on the Jade Light Ranges for now to do the job.
Yeah, but Eugen's hand, I don't think it's probably that good. I see a Carnage Tyrant in his hand, maybe a Dream Eater as well. His hand is quite slow, and he's going to take 7 here. The damage can be quite fast.
And Christian drew a Sorin. Nice. The one of Sorin, right? He's running.
Yep, indeed. And he can bring back the Paradise Druid if he wants to. If he wants to put up some more pressure. It's then lethal for next turn, because the creatures attack for 7, and if he brings back the Paradise Druid, it's actually for 9, plus and the ping from Sorin is going to make it lethal. So we'll see if he goes for a ping, though.
Quite the draw for Christian at this point.
Yeah, good top deck.
We'll see.
He's going to go for
just going to go for the ping.
It's not as fast as it could be.
The first time we're in the feature match area, everyone has problems with our life points.
Oh, but they also both like typing it down. All right, I think it looks like Eugen found a discovery dispersal that he can use to dig a bit further in his deck. Maybe he's gonna play Ritual of Sooth. Nice.
Stabilizing the board.
It's a 2-off in his deck. And if he didn't even get to the crazy cards in his deck, he plays quasi duplicate. he has four charter cards as well. His deck is really.
This is an amazing deck. All right. Stream tot.
Small hiccups. We're getting some lag spikes. We're not in the great Spielraum shop itself, but
we're at Haus der Begegnung. We only have like one tiny box for all our internet we need, so bit unfortunate. And there's the quasi duplicate we talked about. All the one-offs coming.
Copy your Carnage Tyrant, copy your Pelaka Worm, do anything like that. But he was just digging for any sort of land. It looks like he just can't find the 5th land at all.
I'm taking a look. Does he run the Elder Spell main board? No, he has no Elder Spells.
Not even sideboard. One in sideboard, yeah. I mean, he won the first round. That's and these sorts of decks can really they can be good. Because they can really go into the long game. I'm just worried how they face against the Dreadhorde decks.
Yeah.
Like how good they really are.
I was just about to say, because he calls himself Reanimator, but the biggest reanimation spell, the Dreadhorde spell, is not even in his deck. He's not running one in the sideboard. But of course, he's kind of lacking the life gain, although Pelaka Worm could make up for that.
It's the biggest payoff. I mean, it's something that you don't mind bringing back because it's just going to give you some life. It's just going to give you a card if it were to die. Of course, it's not great against the Teferi bouncing it right away. But that's why he also plays Carnage Tyrant, and he has those Dream Eaters that have flash. So
yeah, Carnage Tyrant kind of on a surge again. He's coming back. He used to be played last season a lot. Kind of fell out of favor, and now with these Planeswalkers running Rampage and Standard, he's coming back in again.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Christian actually just still plussing Teferi, who is up to 6. Like at this point, I would probably cash it in for a card.
Yeah, probably.
There's no point.
He has one to spare as well, so even if at one point he's in trouble, he can just replay another one and get rid of a permanent.
Still no green for Eugen there. But he might have something big here. He goes for the Concoct. So he's going to bring back the Carnage Tyrant, possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
Now his opponent is like, what
is this card?
What are you doing? So remember, the right part is 3 blue and a black, surveil 3, and then you can bring something from your graveyard to play. It's only from your graveyard. And he's going to target the... Okay, he should surveil first, I think.
But Christian has commanded Dreadhorde.
Sure. I'm not sure if it targets. I don't know the exact wording of Knife Concoct.
It's not a card that's been played
I don't think it matters. Knife.
Yeah, Christian takes the Carnage Tyrant and returns his own Teferi.
Yeah, so basically didn't return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. But of course, again, didn't even have to like say like I'm going to bring back Carnage Tyrant. He just said like I have a Carnage Tyrant in my graveyard, and if Christian goes for okay, I'm going to take it, then no matter what happens afterwards, it's going to be game over.
Yeah. That has been quite the fast game one. Eugene stumbling a bit of mana, I think. The Ritual of Sooth
was okay.
It was okay. It didn't buy him enough breathing room. Of course, Christian with 2 Planeswalkers out, the one of Sorin and Teferi.
Yeah.
And as in round 1, in game 1, I command the Dreadhorde seals the deal.
It's a good card. I mean, there's no two ways about it. People didn't really respect it at first, but the more people saw its potential, it really picked up and was very popular this week. I assume there's probably a lot of them in the room today.
I think one of the things about Commander Dreadhorde when it first was spoiled is that it puts the cards into play after you lose the life. So a lot of people dismissed it immediately because if you compare it to something like Madcap Experiment, which can cheat Platinum Imperium to play, which sometimes get played in Modern, this interaction does not work. So a lot of people were dismissing it right away, but actually with Whitecroft Walker and the Explore package.
Yeah, I mean that's why they designed it with like the Wanderer in mind as well. The white card that the people are, oh, it's good with this, but you already need to have the Wanderer in play when you play the Commander Dreadhorde. So again, as you said, people are like, nah, this is probably too complicated, not worth enough. But then people are, oh well, there's this Wildgrove Walker card. Just gains a ton of life.
We're already playing that and the Explore package.
Exactly.
Which, funnily enough, works with this card because it puts stuff in the graveyard. So.
Yep, exactly. It came together in the end, and that's why I like there's the 4-color version. There's also the Sultai, the kind of like traditional version with maybe a little bit better mana, but no access to any of the Teferis, which can be actually very important against some decks where you want to resolve the Commander Dreadhorde. Ultimately, the Sultai version has other ways to get around things. They can also play their Carnage Tyrants if they want.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting how the mid-range decks have evolved, especially the big threats. We talked about Carnage Tyrant, who used to be the end game of the green-black deck when it didn't splash blue back in the days. Then, of course, with the printing of Hydroid Crisis, blue was added, and Hydroid Crisis was the late game. And now with Commander Dreadhorde and Planeswalkers, the deck did change a bit, but I think 4-color Dreadhorde now is the mid-range deck.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, I feel like a lot of mid-range decks. Even though the Super Friends deck, I wouldn't call them control per se, but they're more like kind of like interacting in the early game and then try to take over in the mid game. And usually the end game is like kind of academical. Like once you get the big advantage from Planeswalkers, the game doesn't take that long to get an overwhelming advantage.
Yeah, I think it's kind of nice, especially for coverage, if you don't have to sit through 30 activations of Teferi and exiling the enemy board.
Or the Nexus lock, or search for a Scanta with Teferi like all the time, and just the other player hoping for a miracle. It probably won't happen. I'm still very curious to see how Nexus of Fate will perform, because that's a card that has been, like, since Teferi got popular, the deck was on a big downswing, but now came back without Wilderness Reclamation, and they're trying to go for a completely different game plan, and I quite like the look of that deck. And actually, I think Martin Hughes played it in the Fandom Legends tournament last week, and finished second or third. I think
really?
Second.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think he lost to Shahar Shenhar in the finals. So he was playing the blue-green Nissa ramp deck. I mean, it's now called Simic Ramp, rather than like a lot of the similar cards to Simic Nexus, but just a completely changed game plan.
Was it last week or this week? Because
I think it might be this week.
Might be this week, because I think he played the, what's it called? The steel deck with mass manipulation and stuff.
Yes, I think that's the one. Yeah. I mean, there's a few versions of it. There's a version with Nexus, and there's a version without. I saw some people playing the version with the Arboreal Grazers.
I love this card.
You do?
It's really great, yeah.
Okay,
I
should step away then. I really don't like it.
I happen to play a lot of gate stacks online on Magic Arena, and there it's just great to ramp you into your bigger spells.
I do like it with like bounce lands, like the original Ravnica bounce lands. With that, I can get it, but otherwise, it's like, I mean, as we saw yesterday in the Star City tournament, which is Modern, and so Edgar Magalia is one of the prime people who played the Amulet Titan deck, said like he's now playing the Arboreal Grazers as an additional creature, because he said, and he made a great point which I quite enjoyed. It's like you can summon a pack for the Grazer if you already have. If you already have.
If you have the Titan, but you need the mana. Okay.
You need the mana because it's basically like a free drop with any of the bounce lands. So it's an extra land. You can get to the 6 mana faster this way. I'm like,
that's a nice tech.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So he said they can go in turn 2. So. We'll see how that goes. All right, so Eugen Ferencek now is going to get a second chance. I think he might have double Unmoored Ego.
Yeah,
at least one.
I can see the Unmoored Ego.
Yeah, I see a Paradise Druid as well. We'll see how good it's going to be.
Christian, can't really take a look at. I think, does he have an Oath of Kaya? Yeah, he has 2 in his sideboards.
Might have brought it in. No, he's gonna mulligan. He took a peek.
Don't take a look at the
I
top
always
cards.
look. but
I never look.
the important thing is to not have it any effect on you. You know, you just have to look just like, oh, okay, and just keep going. I never try to have it emotionally influence me if I look at those cards. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not that emotional stable, so
Yeah.
I never take a look.
Okay, we might be. Hopefully, we're not down, but it does.
According to OBS, we're still streaming, so we should have an output.
If there's anyone in the chat, can you please tell us before we start investigating?
Unfortunately, our head of technical department, let's call him that, Patrick is currently within the feature match area, so not with us.
He's going to come back soon enough. Okay, it's live still. Okay, so it's probably just my Twitch Twitch app going well. Thank you, Infaction.
Christian with a mulligan, scrying to the bottom. He has I think only 2 lands in hand. He has his one of Tristani.
Yeah, Tristani. I found a Temple Guardian. That's a decent start. He has a couple of lands. No blue mana just yet, and he has a Tameo as well. So, but he might find it soon enough.
I spotted another Kral Harpuna in Christian's hand, so people very aware of the Thief of Sanity.
Yep. Even though there's no Thief of Sanity in Eugen's list.
You see a Water Grave, you immediately go to discard and prepare for it.
I'm sure Christian was probably a little bit surprised by like Hinterland Harbor Paradise Druid after that game.
Exactly. If Eugene didn't have the Carnage Tire in his graveyard, there would have been no indicator that he has green in his deck whatsoever.
Yeah, but you could also play just a blue-black deck with, you know, trying to reanimate Carnage Giant. But of course, it's so easy to add a third color of mana into your deck. And there's the Unmortigo.
I'm pretty sure.
He's gonna name command.
Pretty sure it's gonna name command at Dreadhorde.
He's a little nervous. You see his hands a little bit shaking. He wants to make sure that he gets it right. Fortunately, I think he can explain which card he means. He doesn't have to say the name.
This would be a problem.
If you played Magic like 10 years ago, and you went something like Cabal Therapy and tried to name Teferi, for example, you probably would be in some trouble because there's no card named just Teferi.
Yeah, there's been this famous incident with I think Pitting Needle was the card that named Boborgmos, and it was an actual modern legal card at this point. Yeah. So Boborgmos Enraged could still be activated. Yeah.
Hey, Curly in the chat. We appreciate you being here. We like to stream in English. That's why the guys in the Spielraum shop called me, so you can have some English coverage we can get more viewers and show you guys how well of a tournament they can run. Yeah,
of course, with an international player base coming to Austria today to participate in the Mythic Championship qualifier, we want to bring you English coverage.
All right, we're still resolving Unmortigo. Oh, he doesn't. Okay. It looks like Eugen just doesn't know what the card's called exactly. Okay. So he called it just to explain. Like he's probably just like, it's the 5 or 6 mana black card.
It's a card that killed me last game.
That card.
I lost to that card. I wanna remove that.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so I missed the Leihwand. Okay, to be fair, I do know what Leihwand means.
Leihwand is awesome, although it's the German, not the German, it's the Austrian way to say something's great.
Yes.
It's Leihwand.
Or bad. Usually also
Leihwand. Exactly. It depends on the pronunciation. Exactly. Leihwand is good and Leihwand is bad.
All right, so I'm already going to name in Commander Dreadhorde. So he actually found one in his hand, looks like. Now he's going to look through his deck. What else do you have? There's another Commander. We can see how he sideboarded.
Yeah.
It's nice. All right. So it's still there. There's the Grove, as you said.
Wildlands, Wildgrove Walker. More there's Narset, Tameo.
Assassin's Trophy is nice as well. Yeah, Teferi. Ooh, 3 Teferis next to each other. All right.
Good that he's getting a shuffle in there.
Yeah. And he doesn't have any blue mana just yet, I don't think. Maybe he has a beacon that I didn't see, but now the game is going to be much different. So we can see there's Teferi.
There's Tristani, and I think only one land that's not producing blue. So.
Yep. Okay, so we'll see if Eugen can now do what his deck wants to do, reanimate some big stuff.
Yeah. If your main game plan is to reanimate big stuff and your opponent has the ability to reanimate cards out of your graveyard, that can of course be a problem. Okay, so I think I spotted Big Teferi, Tamio, and Tostani in hand for Christian with 1 land. So unless he draws something, there won't be a play for him next turn. Karl Habumana, of course, can attack.
Yeah. This is actually game 2. I'm gonna make it clear that it was the 4-color Dreadhorde deck that won game 1.
Exactly, Christian is up 1 game at this point. And of course sends in the Karl Habumana. Probably happy to trade with the mana acceleration here, and they actually do trade. Christian found a Jaillight Ranger, right?
Yeah. Looks that way. No, he found I think he found the blue line. I think he had the Jaillight Ranger in his hand. Finds 2 lines. That's nice.
This is very good for him.
Yeah, I mean he does have just a lot of stuff going on in his hand, so he definitely used the lands. Tamio, Teferi, big and small. Let's see if Eugen can do something here. Okay, there's a Charter Course, one of the key cards. In his deck, he traded off his Paradise Druid, which is... there's
a Pelaka Worm.
Yeah. He probably always wants to Charter Course discard a card.
Yeah. Very rarely. Are we going to see him chip in with Paradise Druid, draw 2 cards? Don't think that's his game plan. The 4-color Dreadhorde deck, even without the namesake card, is still very much a grindy deck, and wants to go to the late game, although maybe not against the Reanimator. We'll see. I'm so excited to see Muldrotha. I just want to see that card in play.
I want to see Muldrotha as well. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Okay, there's Tamio, Collector of Tales.
No Dreadhorde to name now. What are you looking for?
Yeah, good question. I actually don't know. He's probably gonna look for cards that he has several of in his deck. But I really don't know.
Maybe he's looking for his unmourned egos, but what to name?
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll see.
It does remove from the graveyard as well, right? So he could search for unmourned ego to remove the big creatures out of the graveyard that he's already seeing, although I don't think this is just what he wants to do right now. He does need to up his pressure a bit more.
Yeah. Right,
just a 2-1 is not going to be enough.
We don't have mics in the feature match area, so we're going to have to keep guessing what our players are naming with Tamio.
There's not going to be some text flashed in what card you named. Sorry.
Yeah, both players are... this is round 2. Both players won the first round.
We're going to see.
Okay, just
a lot of lands.
Did he see Branchwalker?
He actually said Branchwalker. Awesome.
Nice, nice. All right, we didn't have to guess this time. He found it. I mean, it kind of makes sense. He wanted to probably dig for a 4-off in his deck just to make it very likely to hit.
Yeah, at this point he's not about filling his graveyard for a big command Dreadhorde, because of that that option is gone, of course.
Yes. Now I'm gonna see Concoct, I think. Yep. So Surveil 3 first.
Surveil is such an elegant mechanic.
Yeah, I really like it, and especially good in such a deck where like you really try this out for next thing. That's why I don't like. I like the card Dream Eater.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have many good uses, but here it really is something like you fill your graveyard and you find the one card that you need. I'll see what he surveils here.
The way he's holding the cards, is he either gonna bin all of them or none?
Yeah. Wow, he kept all 3.
That's bad news for Christian.
Wow. I mean, Christian is probably going to play, what's it called? He's going to play a Teferi and bounce it maybe. But
does he have big Teferi as well?
He does have big Teferi as well. So he could also play in Taked if you want.
Let's see. Yeah. Seems like big Teferi.
Tuck. I mean, it was like, you have so many good cards there. It's going to 1, 2, yeah, and it's going to be 3rd from top. Yep, it's Black Worm. I really wonder what he
kept on top.
What he kept on top. It must be some really good stuff. Maybe it's like the Bond of Revival, maybe another concoct, and then okay, that one. What's going to name now? Okay, yeah, he didn't hit this time. There was a Vraska Golgari Queen.
One of the nicest things to play alongside the Teferi, I think, in the new format is the new Chase. Because you can actually mill your opponent. So once he draws his relevant card, you just put it in his graveyard.
That's fair. All right. So I think he drew an Assassin's Trophy. That's one of the cards he kept. Let's see what else he kept. Right. Take
Take
two.
two.
Take two. Okay, so we're gonna
This
see
spells-
something here.
This spells trouble for Christian.
We'll see. Right. So,
No 6-mana spell though.
it looks like Assassin's Trophy, the Teferi.
Okay, this is interesting, especially. Oh, maybe he has another removal for.
Kefnet. Okay.
Let's resolve that.
If he has spell on top. Okay. I now Surveil with Kefnet also makes that much more sense.
Of course, of
right?
course.
All right. There's another Teferi though.
Yeah.
Tuck that away as well. That's rough for Christian. Remember, Christian did not search his library because he's not playing any sort of basics. That's why you saw some of these land destruction decks.
Exactly. The Japanese brought it to the MPL, right?
Casualties of War and Field of Ruin.
4 Assassin's Trophy main boards.
Yep.
Good old land destruction plan.
Okay, I think Eugen is out of gas here. I think he has one more land in his hand. But you know he's going to draw.
Is it next turn? Is the Pelaka worm already?
Now he's going to draw Pelaka this turn. And then he has the Kefnet on top. It's going to be rough against. Look at the full hand from Christian Schwarz. It's just like now running over with the game.
Full hand, 2 planeswalkers and a somewhat small creature, but still
found the Walker. Not that he needs it, but it was a 4-off.
This does not go to the hand, Christian. It stays on the board.
Yeah, I think Christian just trying to get enough creatures on board to start pressuring. Even though it's going to be hard against Pelaka Worm, like it's not. You don't really want to bounce it because
that's kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward. Yeah, but so there's the Wildgrove Walker. There's a Branch Walker. Yep, land. Yeah, they gain some life.
Trigger. Yeah, no counters on the Branch Walker and Jade Light Ranger.
Okay. All the lands.
I think
all the lands.
I think at this point he wants to see some spells, especially because his Jade Light Rangers stay 2/1s at this point.
Yeah. All the small ones, but gaining some life back and the small swing here as well. Yeah, but it's still going to be tough for Eugen here. I mean, he's going to slam the Pelaka Worm because he doesn't have any other plays. But Christian has a full hand, and also like we talk about full hand, but he also has a Tamio with a full graveyard.
Yeah,
so he already
options.
rebuy anything from his graveyard. Like any card in his graveyard is basically in his hand if he wants it to. So he can actually start he could bring back the big Teferi to tuck away the Pelaka Worm again, and he could keep doing that for a while. But
I think at this point Christian can just untap, play small Teferi, bounce Pelaka Worm, play Justani and just get into the red zone for a bunch.
That would be sweet.
And next turn, of course, as mentioned, he does have the option to tuck in Pelaka Worm again. So gaining 7 a turn is good, but not if you're getting attacked for a million.
True. All right.
Let's see. So many options in this. He does have another Wildgrove Walker. Maybe he wants to go for Deadline. Although the way he arranges his mana.
I mean, he can do so many things. He has to be careful with the Tamio, like not to overdo the plussing, but once he starts minusing, he should be in great shape anyway.
I love this card so much. It's such a great design. All the abilities are relevant. You can dig for cards. They have the static ability that denies your opponent the discard effect on you, as well as the regrowth effect on the minus, of course. It's such an elegant card.
Yeah. I like it too. I quite underestimated it when it first came out. I immediately thought of Nexus, like trying to name Nexus. I didn't quite realize that like you plus once and then you can minus twice to like regrow stuff. It's just really, really nice.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of loyalty.
I mean, we've come a long way, but back in the days, regrowth used to be a card that was banned. So
yeah,
still a very powerful effect.
All right.
So okay, he's going for another
Walker, and maybe another Jade Light.
The thing is, Christian has almost perfect information about the top of Eugene's deck as well, because
another land of the top. Wow. He's really good at exploring. Really good drawing all those lands. All right. So and all these just start swinging back for a lot of damage. So that's 6, 5, 11 damage total now, from coming in from Christian Schwarz with his Explore Horde.
That's a nice name. Yeah. Explore Horde.
And he has Tristani as a backup as well. He should not forget to use Teferi Plus.
Yeah, with so many planeswalkers.
He might have. He either forgot to put counters on Teferi,
or
he didn't draw a
I
card.
think he didn't use it.
Yeah, I think he didn't use it at all.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to matter at all. Like, it's probably to his downside that he did not draw.
That he didn't tick it up. Yeah, I mean,
he forgot to tick it up.
Yeah, the card drawn I don't think is that relevant, but he could go to Fairy minus, put the Pelakavon pack minus.
Surprise, surprise.
7 mana, gain 7 life.
All right.
And Christian back at it again.
And now he's going to miss the +1 because he could have minus Teferi to tuck away the Pelaka Worm just like that and then play Tristani. And he might have other stuff to do as well. I mean, I don't think it matters.
He has another 2 mana 2/1 draw a land card from the top of the deck in his hand, so
we'll see if he stays on course. You can see all his explorers were lands. He's counting
5, 6,
furiously.
8 is he's missing 1 land to go for. What is it? Probably return it to Feria. Oh, he's going for the small Teferi.
Yep.
All right.
Gonna bounce it again. He probably wants to now play small Teferi and Tristani. All right.
3 mana, gain 2 life.
Yep, there's Teferi.
Gonna shortcut that one, of course. The new one stays in play.
Quick shortcut now. Tristani or 2 explore creatures.
He might be tempted because he drew the Shadelight Ranger to go for a double explore again.
Yeah. He's counting the mana.
I think he's at this point he's counting.
Yeah, what is more damage?
What does he have? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 15 on board right now.
He can improve it by a few. At least
Yeah.
by 2 for each explorer. Yeah.
Neither one is gonna be lethal though, right?
No, I don't think he can find lethal no matter what he does. But he could tick up his Teferi this time.
And not just untap the land. Okay, he's gonna go for the Tristani this time.
Yeah, it's guaranteed to be more damage. Okay, I don't think it's lethal just yet, but whatever. It was like it was 12. It's actually 3 from each of those with explore creatures. That was 12, and then more than enough I think for next turn, because even if Eugen then plays the top one, the Pelaka Worm again, I think he's just gonna die on the swing again. So I think at this point it was clear that what was about to happen. So Christian Schwarz, 2-0.
Yeah, commanding win from him. Although Eugene got a lot of Pelaka Worms in this game.
I mean, it just wasn't enough. Pelaka Worm just not great. As you see, like being bounced, like the gaining of life doesn't matter. If it's not dying, if it's not drawing cards into more guys, it just really doesn't matter. I quite like the look of the Sultai Reanimator deck. It was cool to see it, but now Ferencek is going to have to come from behind in this tournament. Getting an early loss is actually quite damaging, but we'll see. He might be able to turn it into a few more wins in this MCQ here in Vienna.
Yeah, you already mentioned players probably have 1 loss to give. Of course, 8 rounds to go today, so only 1 loss to give. 226 players competing for that 1 spot.
It's
rough.
All. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, we were so used to PPTQs and RPTQs. Now, get that off the board. We're gonna have big MCQs again, and big they are. I mean, 226, and I know there's one in Prague next week, I think, and it's also sold out around 200 people.
Awesome.
Yeah, so and it has been sold out for a few weeks now. So like, there's big demand for these big tournaments, and this standard tournament format is awesome. I really enjoy it.
We've seen this round and also last round. It's a brewer's paradise.
Yeah,
you can play so many different decks. The Dreadhorde deck, of course, being played by a lot of people today, I think.
Yeah.
But Reanimator.
Yeah, not successful this time, but maybe in the future. I think we have plenty of time in the round, so we're going to go on the break, I assume. And we're going to be back with round 3 soon enough. But yeah, it's been fun so far. And stay tuned if you... hey Mazuku, good to see you. Sorry, we're going off for a short break because we don't have any more Magic to show you. But we'll be back with round 3. And then with way more Magic after that. So
way more. Stay tuned. See you soon.